Now let's start off in Nigeria, where the Ondo State House of Assembly has declared Lucky Aiyedatiwa as acting governor of the state, following the receipt of the letter from Governor Rotimi Akeredolu on his embarking on medical leave. The Speaker of the House, Olamide Oladiji, in a statement on Wednesday in Akure, said the awaited letter had arrived. The governor would be going on medical leave for a third time this year. His absence had caused some sort of protracted crisis in his cabinet and the ruling All Progressives Congress in the state. In the studio at the moment, we have a Semiu Okanlawon, journalist, right here, of course, to unpack all of this. Thank you so much for your time, Semiu.
Thank you.
All right, Semiu, now let's get to it. What is your assessment of the current situation in Ondo State? I mean, vis-a-vis what we have seen right now and the latest development.
Well, let me start on this note that law is law. Those who wrote our constitution, they did not just put pen on paper to say this and that. Once you follow what the constitution says, you find out that everything falls in place. I can tell you that there will be a kind of feeling of relief in the entire state of Ondo today, because what ought to have happened is what is happening today, transmitting power to the deputy governor, who is constitutionally put in place to function in place of a governor that is unable to function in his capacity as a governor of the state. So you will see, you agree with me, that for all the period that all the drama are taking place, you see a kind of tension, temper rising and order, insinuations, manipulations, lies upon that, allegations upon allegations. And you see that at the end of the day, with the transmission of power to the deputy governor, you see that there will be some level of calmness at this moment. So, I mean, let me put it that way, I mean, at this point.
All right. We know that a lot of back and forth has actually happened before, this final, will I call it declaration right now. There were even at some point allegations that the signature of the governor was actually forged, right? So I would like to know your take on all of the drama, particularly internal crisis within the APC. Before this final arrival, what's your take on it?
You see, you recall that I said in my opening remark that what the law says is what should be followed in all situations. You see, you and I were here. We are not actually party to what is happening in Ondo State. We've just been watching from a distance. But what I can tell you is that once you defy the Constitution, once you disallow the Constitution, the law, the ground norm from functioning the way they should function, you give room for all manners of manipulation, all manners of falsifications, all manners of lies, manipulations, and all that. So the allegation about the signature of the governor, of the chief executive of the state being forged, cannot be far-fetched. A situation where you now have a kind of what we can call a cabal taking over the affairs of the state in the absence of the governor who should be functioning, then you should expect all manners of drama taking place. As a matter of fact, you see, what saddens one at the end of the day is that the man at the center of it all, that is Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, was once a president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Here is a man who knows the law, who lives the law, and himself is someone who had been at the forefront of clamor for the rule of law in this country. And that takes you back to even the time of the Yar'Adua administration, when we had this kind of a similar situation at the federal government level. The late President Yar'Adua was sick, and it occurred that, well, those who should allow the constitution that should take its course by allowing the then vice president, the then Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, to take over the responsibility of the president in the absence of the president, prevented the vice president from functioning as the acting president. It took us a very long journey. A lot of tension were involved, and, well, unfortunately or ironically, this same Akeredolu was then the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, who also championed the cause of allowing the rule of law to take its course. Why then? I begin to wonder, much as no one will want to talk ill of someone who is indisposed, medical conditions can happen to anybody. But the point is this, the law, I said earlier, is the law. Once the Constitution says this is the situation, once this kind of a situation arises, why don't you just allow that law to take its course? So the allegation about the forgery of the signature of the governor could not be far-fetched. And
right.
so, but I want to believe that with the situation today, I think all that will become a thing of the past.
All right, I understand that we have News Central's Bernard Akede, who is currently, in Ondo State, precisely the capital, Akure, right now, to keep us up to speed. Bernard, what exactly is going on in Ondo State? And we also understand that the deputy governor has returned back to the state in acting capacity as governor. Can you keep us up to speed?
Yes, Dapo, that's pretty much most of what we have. It's more like a generic information that's going around social media and other media houses. I'll quickly read something I put together. The Speaker of the House of Representatives of the State, House of Assembly, I beg your pardon, that's Olamide Oladiji. He's the one who received the letter on behalf of the lawmakers and said that the governor's action is in line with Section 190 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. So, of course, because the governor is incapacitated either physically or mentally or both, he has to hand power over to his deputy governor, which is what has been clamored for a couple of months now. So now the deputy governor is in the capacity of the acting governor, and he should resume work with immediate effect, I believe. We're waiting for an official press statement to be released so that we know what will be done, what will not be done, if there will be changes in the cabinet, if there will be amendments in governance, if there will be, or if it will just be business as usual. And then also remember that we do not know how long the governor is away for. We know he's in Germany on medical leave, but we don't exactly know how long he's going to be away for. So while our wishes and prayers are going out to the governor so that he, gets speedy recovery, all eyes are on the deputy governor, who is now the acting governor, to see what his first and next couple of moves will be in the next couple of days and weeks.
All right, Bernard, just quickly before I let you go, how are residents of Ondo State taking this particular development?
Well, at the moment, the residents are going about their daily businesses as they regularly should. Again, you know that this announcement was just recently made. It was just yesterday that this began to make the rounds. So I want to believe that as the days go on, we'll begin to see some responses. We'll begin to see, responses to stimuli basically by citizens, especially those who are close to government and governance. Ondo State is largely a civil service state, so I'm expecting that there will be some responses from persons in different areas of the government, within the state. But by tomorrow morning, I want to be sure that when eventually that press statement is released, hopefully it's released tomorrow morning, we'll begin to see certain changes, and then we'll be able to get the actual pulse of the people concerning what is going on in the state.
All right, Bernard Akede, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. At this point, I'd like to go to Ibukun right now. Ibukun, I would want to know your take as regards what you see happening in the coming, days right now in Ondo State. Do you foresee a situation whereby the deputy governor, now acting governor, might switch the cabinet, or do you just see business as usual, maintaining status quo?
Well, for me, I think the onus is on the acting governor to sit and take decisions, particularly for the interest of the people of Ondo State and the residents, and then to ensure that the Constitution is followed. Happily enough, power has allegedly been transferred. But even prior to this time, the clear provisions of Section 190 is until the power is transferred, the deputy governor performs the functions of the government. So there is no longer any doubt anywhere. The governor has given a notice to proceed on vacation on health grounds. So the deputy governor has taken over as acting governor. So the duty now is on him. The buck stops at the stable. It is incumbent on him to set agenda and ensure that the state is governed in such a way that dividends of democracy will get to each and every one, to the nooks and crannies, and also to ensure that whatever doubt has been in the air for long is removed. In terms of performance, there is no vacuum. I must also remind Nigerians that regardless of the fact that Governor Akeredolu is on leave, they are on a joint ticket. Whatever happens to him happens to the acting governor in terms of commendation or condemnation. So it is incumbent on him to ensure that he sits up to this shoe that he has entered, and to ensure that whatever it is that may want to be a let or hindrance is removed, either willingly or unwillingly. Because as it were, we have seen the kind of drama that played out in about a month from now, a month now, and we have seen how the political stakeholders had to play the game until we got to this point. So it is incumbent on him to stand up, follow the Constitution, and ensure that is led by his genuine love for the people of Ondo State.
All right, Samir, I would like to come to you. We know that there are many issues on ground that probably might just need attention. As acting governor right now, what areas or what key aspects should he take in terms of priority and address almost immediately? Some of the opinion that some of the issues that came up in terms of when the governor was, away and didn't hand over power, he should address some of them. Some are also of the opinion that maybe a cabinet reshuffle and all of that. What areas do you think the acting governor should address, as soon as possible in terms of administration in the state?
Well, you see, from the benefit of hindsight, with the kind of drama that are taking place, whether in the first instance when the governor traveled out of the country for about 3 months before he returned, and subsequent, return where he had to stay in Ibadan, and up until today when power transferred to the deputy governor, you see that it's been a whole lot of drama involving quite a number of the political gladiators within the party, within the government, aides, appointees of the governor, relatives of the governor, and all that. You see, unless you want to deceive ourselves, there is no way the man at the saddle now, the deputy governor, who is the acting governor now, will not take certain decisions that will seem like, okay, he has to do some kind of restructuring when it comes to people who is functioning where, because the drama that are taking place in the last 3 months or thereabout, there is no way he can rely on some personalities within that administration.
But some will also say that it appears like the party, that's the Ondo State chapter, seems way divided now. And for that reason, there needs to be a unified front.
There's no way.
So, this is just me asking. Do you think that he should find a way to unify the party? Or better still, some have suggested that the aspect, or the set of people that really need to heal is the residents of Ondo State and even not the politicians there.
You see, my first advice to Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa is that one, he should focus on governance. That is a primary duty. But you see, in focusing on governance, there is no way, we are all human, there is no way he will not have certain suspicion in certain personalities who he might believe that, well, even in his zeal, in his decision and determination to move the state forward, they may want to constitute themselves into a kind of cog in the wheel of progress. So don't be surprised when you see some situations like movement here and there, redeployment, appointment, some removals here and there, cutting and off the structure of governance. But most importantly, I say, the governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, must focus on governance. Go and look at areas that have suffered in the area of economy, in the area of education, that have suffered in the last few months that the governor had become incapacitated, and try to focus on those areas so that within a very short time, people of the state will feel its impact, while we pray for the quick recovery of Akeredolu.
All right. Just before I let you go, gentlemen, I'd like to know your opinion, Ibukun. Let's talk about the well, I call it next year, which of course is a political season in Ondo State. There are allegations that the current acting governor right now also has ambition. Do you think his new position now as acting governor would be some sort of leverage? Should such insinuations be true in him becoming officially, having some sort of footing in the elections?
For me, I'm not really aware of that insinuation, but give or take, for the benefit of doubt, if that is true, then that would put on him a greater challenge. Because at this point in time, people are yearning for good governance, they are yearning for leadership, they are yearning for direction. And that in the the next few days now, people are expecting some kind of directions, some kind of leadership, some kind of capacity demonstration and performance. So if he has that kind of agenda, he must ensure that this period is properly utilized in such a way that he will gain the confidence of the people. Regardless of whether or not he has it, he has a right to have it. That we must get that straight. He has a right to have it. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm not aware yet, but if he has it, it's an opportunity for him. And I tell you, if he uses this opportunity very well, it might be a springboard. Truly, you cannot take that away because this is like a primus inter pares. A lot of people will be gunning for that office. A lot of people will be aspiring to go into that office. But now it's going to be like the first amongst equal because the ground cannot be said to be level. He is in power. He is in place of authority and also some level of contact with people in power. So you really cannot rule that away. But what I am saying is that if that is true, it's a good one for him. And of course, it's a springboard. He should use it well.
All right. I'd also like to direct the same question to you, Samiu. If, of course, you can give us a response in 30 seconds.
It is his right to seek election if he wants to seek election. But just like I said, use the present platform that he has to sell himself to the people of Ondo and then let the people choose. But you see, on a lighter note, Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa might just be lucky after all. And I think maybe in future, people who are choosing their deputies or people who are choosing their presidential candidate will have to be hesitating whether they can choose any man that bears lucky. Because of
it looks like we're having a replay. Yes, I get what you're saying.
You had a good luck Jonathan, who became the president from being president, and now you have Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who is now in acting capacity. We pray for quick recovery of Arakuni Rotimi Akeredolu. He has served the people of Ondo very well. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves in this situation that he had to step aside. But I think majorly the people are at the center of every action that everybody within the political space must take. So I wish Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu quick recovery, while we are also wishing Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa a good opportunity for him to showcase himself as a possible next governor after Rotimi Akeredolu next year when the state will be going to poll. But just like Ibukun said, there are many other interested parties in the state, and those are part of the kind of things that have fueled all the controversies surrounding the health of Mr. Akeredolu. I wish Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa success.
All right, Samiu, thank you so much for your time. I mean, interesting times you say. Some would say it's maybe a replay of the past in terms of the coincidence, in terms of names. Yeah. I remember during the time of Yaradua, it was Yaradua and then Good Luck, Jonathan. And right now it's Akeredolu and Lucky. So, I mean, in terms of similarities. But we would, of course, keep our eyes on this particular ball. Samiu Okala, journalist, and also Ibukun Fasami joining from Akure. Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.